How's it going, guys? And welcome back to another Q&A. Today we're joined with Mod Matt K,
Right.
Mod Kieran,
Woo!
Mod Ronan,
Hello.
Mod Ash,
Hello.
and myself, Mod Archie. Before we get to the questions today, we had a couple big updates, namely the combination of the Maxcapes. Anybody want to cover that? It's pretty
Well,
straightforward.
courtesy of Mod Maz, that one, so, and she ain't here.
Well, I'll explain it then. So basically, ModMaz has coded it so that you can actually combine some of the best in slot capes with the Max cape now. So you can attach the Fire cape to it, and it'll also change the colours so that it's easily identifiable as that type of Max cape. That'll give it the Fire cape stats. You can also give it the Ava's accumulator, and that'll have the colours of the Ava's accumulator and have the best in slot range stats. And you can also do it with the 3 God capes. It'll also include any of the special effects, like it'll have the Ava's effect, it'll have the God effect of the capes, so you'll be able to go to Savadome and God Wars with the Savadome and Max cape, and you'll not be attacked, that sort of thing.
And one thing that we did mention in the update post as well is the RD Cloak 4, which is another top tier cape that wasn't included in this list. It is something that we can do in the future.
Yeah, quite a few requests for that one. In addition, Deadman changes. They have noted that Ronan's growing a beard.
I'm not, man. It's No Shave November. And I can't grow
All
a
right,
beard. This
credit
is
to you.
tragic.
Yeah. I don't know why that was dominating the chat, so I had to. We've added a new NPC, Gelen?
Gellin.
Jellin.
It's any anagram of Nigel that sounded vaguely feminine. So, yeah, that.
There's quite a lot of those NPCs
Jelly.
in games that are just anagrams.
Yeah.
And with her, you can buy hit points insurance. Again, quite explanatory. You can pay money to insure your hit points.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
that. If you go to her with a lot of money, don't be surprised if someone tries to kill you.
And also, if you do find, I mean, we've had a bug report or two where people aren't seeing their hit points go back down to what they insured it to. That's because they haven't stopped protecting their hit point skill.
There was a thread on Reddit. Somebody died after insuring their hit points at 76 hit points. Said, my hit points stayed at 76. Hit points insurance is bugged. Then they realized they were actually still protecting hit points.
Yeah.
It's
Tragic.
also pretty funny because that thread came up like a couple of minutes after the hit points update, which means that they managed to die within a couple of minutes of that update.
And still have time to buy hit points insurance.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Last one was, well, there's actually quite a few bug fixes, but last bigger change, I suppose, is losing less XP when you're unskulled in Deadman. So you now lose 25% XP, percent of your XP that's unprotected if you die while you're unskulled in Deadman.
Absolutely.
Okay, questions. Slay Masters asks, could we get the financial deposit box in the live game, the standard old school game, so we can lock out items, or sorry, our items, for a certain period of time, and would have to wait to access them? This would be good for people doing a from scratch series, have a staking addiction, or simply scared of being hijacked.
I think if they're worried about getting hijacked, firstly get the authenticator and then authenticate your email, and you'll be fine. If you've got a staking addiction, you probably want to see a doctor rather than worry about what we can do with you, because it's a bigger issue than we're going to deal with, quite frankly.
It's worth emphasising what Matt said there about authenticating your email. If you've got an authenticator set on your account, but somebody works out how to get into your email account, then they can email us and tell us to turn it off. So if you've got one of those email providers that allows you to set up, say, 2-step verification when you log into your email, that makes your email properly safe. Otherwise, someone who can get a keylogger onto your computer or can guess your password is going to be able to try and get past your authenticator even then.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not difficult to keep your stuff safe. It's not a difficult thing to do. And you know, if someone's going to get into your email account as well, they've probably got worse things in there for them to do with than get onto a RuneScape account. If you've got your bank information in your email, then you know, should everybody and their mum should have 2-step authentication on their email to their phone, so that no one is going to get in it unless they mug you and steal your phone. In which case, you've got even more trouble. So, you know, it's not hard. It really isn't. Rant over. Carry on.
Yeah. Needless to say, deposit box in normal old school, just get a bank pin and authenticator. Okay. Thanks to Seven asks, when will the Q&As be more orientated around the standard version of old school instead of just Deadman related questions? These are not any specific related questions to one game mode in specific. These are all of the questions that were asked this week. And same thing goes for last week, actually. It just so happens that all of the attention was around Deadman shortly after launch.
Yeah. I think the
guess
only
it.
Deadman specific one we did was the Thursday straight after Deadman, where we sort of themed it as Deadman.
Yeah.
But even then, we asked every question that was sent to us, and they obviously clearly were Deadman because it literally came out. So
I should emphasize that we're being sent less and less questions each week. It's granted that we're not going to make as many crazy big updates every single week to make you want to ask 60 questions or so every single week. We do run into a lot of repeats, so yeah. If you have any questions that you think haven't been asked, please do fire away. They don't have to be Deadman.
you don't have to wait as well for the thread to go up on Reddit. You can email Chris at any time. Don't
Tweet.
email him. Tweet Chris at any time,
Yeah.
and he collects them throughout the week. So you've got questions you want to ask. If you think of one after today's stream, just email it to Chris. He'll stick it on the list, and we'll answer the good ones. Obviously, the rubbish ones we won't answer, but the good ones we do.
We get a couple of them through.
Yeah.
Why not? All right. Bob asks, can the Wyvern freeze attack be reworked to keep you in combat? Currently, people will stand next to you, wait for you to get frozen, and take your kill.
Say that again, sorry.
I expect we could do that. I'll have to look at exactly how it's working, but I'd be surprised if we couldn't do it.
Okay. A confident maybe. Notorious asks, thoughts on being able to protect a 6th skill by wearing a skill cape? So you're saying, even if you're not protecting, say, thieving, if you have the skill cape, you can protect
What
it.
we've got to do in Deadman is to make sure that it stays dangerous. If we make it too easy to survive, then it stops what Deadman is, which is why it's got to remain dangerous. Even protecting the 6th skill might make it too easy. So I would be very careful about doing that.
Definitely more. We've had some really, really good ideas come through, but they're almost always asking to make it easier.
Exactly. I mean, if we make Deadman as easy, if we get it gets easier and easier and easier, it gets closer and closer to being a version of Old School, just with quicker XP in it. And if we want to do that, we'll probably put another game out, which is like Old School, but with quicker XP in it. We don't want to turn Deadman into that, because that's not what it is. And that's not the reason why the core people are playing it.
I agree.
Quick escape.
Quickscape, yeah.
Darth asks, can you change the Explorer's Ring Alks so it can be used on any spellbook?
This one again. I think we've said yes, it would require a menu to be made for it, which is why it's not a quick job that we can just knock out in our spare time. But yeah, we're up for it.
Okay. It's not exactly like you could throw the High Alk onto the Ancient Spellbook. You'd have to...
Well, that's another thing we
Yeah.
actually could do. Copy the High Alk spell onto the Ancient Spellbook. It came up on my Twitter the other day, and the answer is yeah, I could do that, although rearranging the spell icons would be a controversial end of that, which is why I would prefer not to start messing with that. But we could do either.
Why can you see? Asks, can Deadman get a bounty hunter world? Yes, it's just one world where the wilderness only. You can actually get targets and fight them for an emblem, which would then obviously give you access to the shop.
Was that wilderness only, like you can't go to the rest of the world?
No,
Okay.
just only the wilderness
So yeah, okay.
would be the bounty hunter area.
I think it'd be more interesting if the entire world was the bounty hunter area.
Yeah.
Oh,
It'd be
good luck finding somebody.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, but no, the idea of hunting someone down across the entire world is
You probably find they're upstairs in the Haziel cult house.
probably.
These people want, isn't it? They want the stuff from the bounty hunter shop.
They want the rune
They
pouch,
don't
mostly,
want to,
yeah.
They don't want to do bounty hunter as a game. I think they want the stuff from it. So maybe we ought to be looking at other ways of putting that into game. I mean, adding it to the wilderness drop boss monster
Yeah,
pets.
that seems like the logical way to go with
is,
that.
is probably the better option. Yeah.
Yeah, follow up to that actually was asking any foreseeable ways you see in the future of achieving access to emblems. Obviously, we could have the wilderness bosses drop them as a rare drop rate. I think that would maybe be the
I think it's
fairest.
probably the best thing to do,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
In fact, we do it on Bounty Worlds.
Yep. That would obviously limit you to just tier 1s.
Yep.
They would be tradable, but that seems like the fairest option.
Seems
Off the top of my head.
the best, doesn't it?
Blood money, again, farmable.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it
That's
always
the
would
problem
be.
with blood money is because we don't have all the protection that a bounty hunter has in place. For example, you have to get a target. You can literally set up another account, just kill it over and over again, and just get lots and lots of blood money that way, which is why it can't be used for anything. terribly useful. It's nice cosmetic stuff. We'll probably use it again holiday events and things, special events, but that's probably about it. Nothing of any excitement's going to come from it, I don't think.
Nigel's sword looks like a nice thing to buy with it, though.
Yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we? A cosmetic sword. Be quite cool.
I do feel bad for anybody who's collecting like hundreds of blood coins, but it would be quite the status symbol if you had something like that. One of the rarest things in the
We
game.
got a stat about that, didn't we? Did we mention it in last week's live stream?
Yeah,
How
we
many-
said
how many
the
blood coins the most.
The most was like
person has?
260 or something,
Yeah,
I think.
295, dropped just over 300, something along those lines.
I saw a player trying to hoard a million potatoes the other day. People collect stuff even if they don't think there's an immediate use for it.
That's true.
Perhaps he wanted to start a potato farm or a potato family.
How do you start a potato
You
family?
get lots of potato heads, Mr. Potato Head. Plug things in.
I hope they're not collecting rotten potatoes.
Someone tried that.
One of these is bound to be rotten. All right. Alablaze asks, can we have the ability to wear the Ghost Ahoy bedsheet anywhere in Old School?
Not without mucking up every animation you ever do anywhere else in Old School. There's a reason it's restricted to a town where there's not very much to click on.
There you go.
I was just thinking, like, imagine Deadman getting chased by a guy with the bedsheet with 5 keys over his head, throwing barrages.
It'd be interesting, but I think it would have to put a spook warning on the entire game, and I just don't think that's really worth it.
Yeah. Too spooky.
Not suitable for under 16s because you'll be too spooked.
Spine asks, when casting Monster Examine, there's no way to tell if a monster is immune to venom, but not immune to poison. He gives Calphite Queen as an example. In addition, there's no way to tell if a monster is poisonous as well. Could these changes be added?
Sounds feasible.
Makes sense, wouldn't it?
We're not at risk to give them too much information because they already know it all anyways.
Half that stuff we posted on the forums at the time.
Yeah. I was
Yep.
going to say, I mean, the majority of the information you can get off a website just makes it easy to get to, really. So, yeah.
Okay. Says, also, now that we can see many Slayer monsters are not particularly weak to a specific attack style, could this be changed to make weapons like the bludgeon more useful?
Rather depends on what he's asking for. Like, if he'd like us to make an existing monster mysteriously vulnerable to that one weapon, well, we could, if we wanted to make that task significantly easier for people who've got that weapon.
Yeah, it needs to be reasonable. I mean, I think Zeah, the phase 3, we're looking at doing some Slayer stuff, aren't we? So that might be the time to actually look at maybe Slayer-specific weapons for specific things, potentially, just a thought out there. Might be a way around doing it, perhaps.
I agree with new monsters. I think it makes sense for newer monsters, but to make every monster in the game almost require a specific weapon to kill it instead of a different one,
Yeah.
that's just silly. Okay, Quincy asks, can you go into detail into the soon-to-come Zulrah fishing eels update? How many skills you get, etc.?
So, I put out a tweet about that yesterday, and after I'd done quite a lot of the coding for getting eels at all, and invited people to send in what they thought a decent XP rate might be. And I got some interesting answers. In fact, I got one player saying he'd like 13 million XP per hour and 2 billion scales because he hates fishing. So we're going to put that one down as a vocal minority and go with some of the other ideas. Other people, the strong consensus was try to make it a bit better than monkfish, but not as good as barbarian fishing, otherwise people would just grind on that all the way to 99. And the thing is, I'm inclined to make it relatively low XP despite the high level on it. I know it's 87, but if this becomes the place you want to grind to 99 from 87 upwards, then you're just going to be spaffing scales into the game. And at present, yeah, they're kind of expensive. That'll change, of course, when this comes out, but all the same, we would prefer not to make that the new way to 99. So I'll be going to the lower end of what's being sent in. As for the number of scales you're getting per hour, I believe people can typically come away from Zulrah with about 3,000 per hour from actually fighting the thing. I don't want to make this anywhere near as good because the effort you have to put into fighting Zulrah and some of the other costs associated with fighting Zulrah considerably outweigh standing on the dock of the bay wasting fishing. So
I think only me and you were going to get that.
we'll talk about this song earlier. Sorry, that's mucked up the cameras for you. So I'd like to keep the scales well below that kind of level, somewhere below 1,000 an hour, in fact. The rate at which you're getting scales, by the way, is going to depend not just on your fishing level to get the eels, but on your cooking level to increase your skill in getting scales out of the eel once you've caught it. So as you ramp up from 72 cooking to 99 cooking, you get more scale on.
Good. Sounds good. Do you know if you'd prefer to have it as in like one scale per eel or multiple scales per eels? Or
Multiple.
multiple. Okay.
Yeah.
Next
It's
question.
easy to ramp up because if you get one scale per eel at 72 and I wanted you to ramp up from that, then I haven't got anywhere to go.
Right?
Oh, and for the people who asked, if you use a knife on the eel to get the scales out, it does repeatedly do all the other eels in your inventory one by one, rather like when you're grinding stuff in your pestle and mortar, so it doesn't become a massive click fest. But a player who's good at clicking could probably click a bit faster than the automatic thing will go.
They'll be happy with that.
You notice what's really interesting, you coughed, okay? 12 months ago, what word have they been shouting in the chat right now? Not one has appeared, that word has not appeared once.
Does it help that I
Yeah,
kind of
isn't that
muted
fascinating?
while I was
Yeah.
doing
No, I
it?
don't think so. They're all sort of shouting about it, and they're all talking about some funny face they all posted up. But 12 months ago, they'd have posted a very specific word, and not one person did.
Well, it was eradicated officially in Sierra Leone, at least.
It was, wasn't it? That's fascinating. But anyway, yeah. Moving
Right?
on.
Moving on.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Yep. Next
There's
question.
the word.
Yay!
Next question has an image, so we'll throw that up for you. Limpward asks, could we get the RuneScape rapier in the Old School logo design in-game for Old School's 3rd birthday?
I need to check that because I think something might be happening with that. Say anything else.
Maybe.
It might have already happened, it might not have.
They
I don't
announced
know.
it.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still maybe.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. Just basically a gold trimmed steel longsword.
It's pretty much that.
Which already has a
love the
gold
idea
hilt,
of
I
it.
think. Yeah.
Little interesting fact about that sword as well is in the proper full art version of it, there is a little universe inside the little blue gem that's on it. Little solar system with all the spirally solar system stuff. There you go. Little fact.
Okay.
Wow. Shut
Ian
down,
told me,
Chris.
all right?
Yep.
So wait,
What do you want me to say? Whoa! This is
Yes.
mind-blowing.
I
already knew that.
I remember players saying they could see something and they thought it was a little smiley face. So a whole universe sounds a lot more exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of like something out of Men in Black, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep, lots of little smiley faces turning up.
Sort of what they mean.
The forehead.
Forehead.
Yeah, all right.
My forehead.
Yeah.
How is that a forehead? I mean, I've seen people with bigger foreheads than that.
Yes.
Well, if it was just a forehead, you wouldn't know what you're looking at.
There's one
Don't-
I
upstairs.
still don't know what I'm looking at.
There's no answer to why a Twitch emote's called what they are.
What do they represent?
You know what? There aren't enough emotes in
I
our
just
streams
think that
anyway.
was
So.
MMORPG RS keeps getting them, doesn't he? For doing stuff. I don't know why.
All right.
There's
Pierce
a website
Band.
that tells you all about this, isn't there? I just see one the other day, so I could look one up.
You just hover over the emote and it tells you.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell you the history behind it and why it's been made.
Oh no, it doesn't. No.
So the website did, which I thought was quite
It's
good.
pretty depressing that there's a website dedicated to that.
There's probably
Oh,
some
you
like-
love it, Ronan. You love the
It's probably
memes.
called twitchemotes.com or something, I can't remember.
Well, it's good to be able to catch up on your memes afterwards in case you took a day off or something.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Barack Obama.
Okay, before we get into those.
Yeah.
Pure Spam asks, this is a serious question. Can you add a 5 or 10 second PJ timer in Deadman mode?
No.
Shot down.
Yeah, PJ is fine. Let them happen. It's not supposed to be easy. If you want it easy, then go play something else. It's difficult. Tough. Throw up.
Jeez. All right.
I think that's a sign for the next question.
Yes.
Tell us how you really feel, Matt.
Have you had a bad beating or something?
No, it's not. No.
He sat
It's
there.
the same thing we said earlier. You know, if Deadman mode gets easy, then it starts being as good as it is.
This is more fighting against teams helping out the solo
That's fine.
PK,
You know,
I
if you're
think.
going to go into a dangerous environment and there's more than one person there, then they can tag
Yeah.
team if they want. That's absolutely fine.
Fair enough.
You know, going to a multi, there's a team there, you don't complain that the team's going to attack you all at once. So it's supposed to be difficult, that's the entire point.
All right. J Beebs has a suggestion. Says, please buff the Legends Cape or nerf the Obsidian Cape.
I don't like that suggestion.
Everyone wants the
Personally.
Legends Cape to be better because it looks amazing.
Well, I'm not nerfing the Obsidian Cape.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
It was. Is it easier to get a Legends Cape or an Obsidian Cape?
Obsidian.
Right.
You can
you
just
can
buy
buy
an
it.
Obsidian Cape.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
So-
what, 300k? 350k or so?
The Legends Cape seems like, if anything out of those two, that should be better than it is. At one point, it was probably the best cape, wasn't it? To get
Yes,
before
that
the
was
Obsidian.
what, early 2004 when
Yeah, so
Classic was the thing.
that was when I got mine, and that was
Obviously,
what I
Legends
wanted.
Cape, you take several stats to access the quest, several quests to access the quest, and then the quest is a Master's quest to do.
Maybe, right, just thought out the blue. Monkey Madness 2, right? Upgrade to a cape, maybe? Seems like quite a nice little thing there.
Seems a bit detached from
Yeah.
the Legends
Yeah,
quest.
yeah.
Well, I haven't written the quest yet, so it doesn't have to be, does it?
We
If
can
we-
think
Maybe
of
you have
something,
to get
maybe.
maybe you have to get the cape to do something, perhaps?
I think there's a reason to just buff it straight up. What stats we give it.
And then what do we devalue in that? The Fire Cape, obviously. Yeah.
Mm.
For what it's worth, when we've had, a new guild with a special cape or a special thing you only get inside it, it's usually been very much the focus of the quest. Like Champions Guild, you're killing a dragon to prove yourself worthy to go in there, I think, and
Get the rune plate, buddy.
and or at least
Which isn't even in the Champions Guild.
but
regardless.
quest points actually. No, that doesn't actually have a quest as such, but to get the rune plate body, you need to do the quest. But the Heroes Guild is very much all about that guild, and the Legends Guild is all about that guild. So if we wrote a quest and it was like the Mythology Guild or something, or the Uber Cool Dudes Guild, or whatever we wanted to call it, or Uber Cool People, then we could certainly go down that way. Just not call it Monkey Madness 2.
Sounds much better.
What's better than Legend? Gods?
Sorry?
No, we've got God quests, God capes already, haven't we?
Skill Cape.
Deity cape.
The
Obsidian
Master
Cape.
Guild.
Why is Old Man's familiar
Are we thinking of names for the cape?
of the guild,
Oh.
Yeah.
if there were a guild?
Masters.
Guild.
I liked the super
Lads.
uber cool one.
Super uber cool dude.
Whatever Ash said.
Cool person, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Mean guild, there we go. You can design that, Roman.
No.
Next question then. Celery asks, will we ever be able to remove the second cape from the max cape? And will we be able to get the max cape back?
Nope. It was intended that you would use it up to do this.
It's a really good gold sink.
What we could do is let you add another buff that overwrites the first one. So you've got a max cape that's been bound to a fire cape. You use your wave as a accumulator on it, and it just deletes the fire cape properties completely and binds itself to the max cape instead. That way, if you've got one, you don't have to buy another max cape necessarily, but you've still sacrificed your fire cape to have it even for that short time.
I mean, it's all possible.
The reason that came up is that with the skill cape perks coming fairly soon,
Yeah.
people are going to get a ranger cape that does some stuff, and then they won't necessarily want their Ava max cape anymore in the same way.
Talk about gold sinks. Everyone added to construction. It's a gold sink in the kitchen. You pay millions of GB for.
I like that idea.
Doesn't it just work? I'm sitting thinking that just works.
The whole of construction is a gold sink.
I don't know, but I actually recognise it as a gold sink. Can we have a vote in the chat? Whoever's kicking around doing votes. Nobody.
There was an idea. There was
Yeah.
the Dragonstone sink idea. It came up on Reddit a while back, which was a
It
Dragonstone
was,
sink
can
in
we
your house.
have a golden sink added to construction? That's a gold sink.
Can we genuinely put that in the game, actually?
I would
Provided
like
we've
that.
Do we
not
have
had
room?
hotspot space, I haven't checked the variety of sinks. It's amazing how much variety there is in construction. They made a lot of custom furniture
Yeah.
for that. It's been used all over the place ever since, like in Evil Dave's mum's house.
Will it do anything?
What sort of
It'll
anything?
just be there to show people that you've. Can we have a golden sink added
You
to
can-
construction? Acts
You
as a
can
gold
fill
sink?
your
Perfect,
kettle from
yes.
it to make tea.
Yes, that sounds good. Maybe you have to have it to obtain your red mug in game or something.
Ooh. Yeah, we've got an object model of that now that it's been used in the emote. It could have been saved out for use as an item you can keep in your inventory to fill your bank with.
Yeah, why don't we just go the whole hog, a whole golden bathroom?
It's not a gold sink though, is it? Bathroom's needs a much bigger thing than.
Well, yes, golden
could have a
sink,
golden
bath, gold.
Yeah, it needs a much bigger
See it
quest
with
thing to get a
straight
toilet in game.
So please vote on this poll as if it's a serious topic. Would you like a golden sink to be added as a possible construction addition at the cost of
Billion
GP.
all of your bank?
And then some. Right, let's go to the next poll.
Okay.
You gold sink, you gold toilet, gold bath, gold shower.
There's already an image of this.
See, I mean, the issue is, okay, right, if we put a toilet in game, it's got to be a big deal, because currently RuneScape people don't go to the toilet.
There is one though.
Oh, there
you
is.
said in that cutscene.
Well, in the Lunar spell where you talk to an NPC, if you press the question mark, you get to talk to a random NPC. And one of the random NPCs you might talk to is just some man who says, "Leave me alone, I'm on the toilet." You say, "Toilet?" "Yeah, he's on the toilet, he wants to be left alone." And we don't know where it is, but personally, I think it's on Zeah.
Ooh.
It's all coming together
Have
now.
you modelled a toilet yet, Gareth?
Not in recent
Yes.
No, that might be something I need to do soon.
Okay, so for anyone watching on YouTube, the result of that straw poll: 85%, 86%, 85% would like a golden sink. Leave your feedback in the comments below.
Have you got it on your pad?
Oh yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah, write the one down.
You bring a notepad to every stream. I've never once seen you write something down other than when Matt tells you to.
Hey, I normally write quite a lot of stuff down.
Lies.
I just didn't think gold sink was a serious idea.
86%. You can't ignore the community.
Yeah. We're all 100% serious. Right. Selgi, not so much a question, more of a statement. Solo Deadman mode.
What?
What?
So what,
Solo
you can't-
Deadman
you
mode.
can't- you can't
As
kill
in,
anybody?
no multi, anywhere in the game.
Oh no, that's rubbish.
Is there any
Oh.
combat? Or are you just entirely by
Okay,
yeah,
yourself?
yeah.
If it's single everywhere, you can, the risk drops right back down again. And multi is half the fun of it.
I think if we did that, the next step would be people saying, people are PJing and like switching
Yeah.
between who's attacking. Can we stop this and add a PJ timer? So it only ever be 1v1s across the entire map, and at that point, you're not really in much danger of dying ever. And I think it's just sort of that.
Well, you definitely are. That's
you
the
can
idea of
avoid
being solo.
multi-combat in Deadman mode really easily, for the most part. There's a couple of occasions in like quests when you're doing stuff where you have to go to multi,
Yeah.
but for the most part, you can completely avoid it.
For the most part, yes.
There's definitely occasions where you can't,
Yeah.
but if you want to take that risk and get the reward, then go into multi. If you don't, then don't.
Also, we're not just going to go up and make a new game mode just for solo, and we're definitely not going to change things the way they are. So, but personally, I thought it was a cool idea.
A lot of people like clan PKing as well. So.
Yeah.
I thought for a minute what he was talking about was a solo Deadman mode where you are the only person you ever meet. And you just get fast XP and there's no people.
Yes.
Sounds even better.
Personal world.
Mirror asks, in Deadman mode, can we have the ability to take a clue scroll from a player's bank after killing them if they have one?
I like that idea. Just the thought of getting third age from a clue that you've stolen.
Make them tradable.
We can override the rule about untradeable items not going between people's inventories. After all, it's only a check that we normally put in to stop it happening by mistake.
And what happens if you have one already in your bank?
It becomes a very intensive check.
You start stacking up. That's what I'm thinking. Just making it untradeable for Deadman mode servers might be the option, because people will have a way of trading it if they want to.
You also need to value the clues. As when you raid somebody's bank, you get their 28 best items. You'd have to decide obviously where that item lies. If it makes it into that 28 best slots, I don't know what we would value an elite at, like 100k or something.
Yeah, it's tricky.
If we let them get hold of the bounty hunter rewards and then they get the clue box that normally protects things in your inventory, that gets even weirder.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's a nice idea and all, but yeah.
It was a cool idea. It's
nice.
thinking
Yeah,
outside the
nice.
box.
I do love the idea of like untradables. Like someone's got a fighter torso, you kill them, and you can steal their fighter torso. But
All right. Ghost Noob asks, thoughts on allowing the Ring of Life to teleport you without the 10-second timer in Deadman? Would give incentive for players to need teleblock while PKing.
Yeah, it
Not
seems,
massively keen.
yeah, we did discuss the Ring of Life, and we didn't want it to be too powerful.
I wouldn't want
And this
everybody
sort
in
of
the
makes it
game
u-
wearing
I'd-
Ring of Life.
This Ring of Life, having a 10-second timer, does sort of make it useless at the same time. But
Yep.
Every player in the whole game would wear one 24/7.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, how annoying would it be if you're attacking someone and they happen to fall in that slim range of HP where the Ring of Life takes them? You'd just be annoyed.
That is the most soul-crushing thing when you're PKing.
Yeah.
Spec someone, get an amazing spec. You're almost going to... It's almost a guaranteed kill on the next hit, and then...
And then you just see that little
teleport
animation of
away.
the teleporting. No, please.
Those damn rune crafters, right, Ronan?
Yeah.
Next
Exactly.
question. Can teleports not be interrupted by combat?
It's sort of the point.
yeah,
of
yes,
the,
indeed, yeah.
Is this a question about Deadman mode?
Yes.
Then no.
Yes. Yes, that's right, no. I was agreeing with you. There we go. Yeah. No, it is all about danger, and you can't get away from people easily in Deadman mode. Therefore, the risk is there.
It'd be really weird if you cast a teleport spell, you sit there completely immune for 10 seconds, ticking away, and then you're allowed to teleport, but no one can do anything to you while you wait.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, it would be fun to watch somebody try to log out while somebody's hitting him, and seeing whether he's gonna die before the 10-second timer hits, or if he's gonna make it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah,
And it would simply make everybody log out instead of teleporting.
It's a bit.
Next question then. Can Mod Matt K go into more detail about the Zeah teaser that he tweeted?
Yeah. It is part of the Hosidius house, I think it's called. Is it Hosidius? Hosidius. But the house with all the farming stuff in it. It was obviously in a farming house. You're going to have wheat. You're going to have a mill to grind that wheat. On the right-hand side, there is a new farming mini game. Well, not mini game per se, but a new way of doing farming. Which you'll
we
have
all
to-
need to learn the pronunciations.
Yeah. I think it's half the fun, isn't it? It's not pronounced, so everyone pronounces it differently.
It's what people
and-
come to expect with RuneScape names.
And you guys are going to have to wait till it comes out to find out how to play the game. So I'm not going to tell you. There we go.
Just reading our little notification there, asking about Xmas jumpers for the merch store.
I put in a
So there's a
poll.
poll that's going to see which one you want to be seen.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
fine, yeah.
So we're going to throw a poll in the chat to see which Christmas jumper you'd like to see in the merch store. Feel free to vote on that. Next question.
Are there any pictures? Of. Okay.
There's,
There's a word beginning with
Use
S.
your imagination.
There's Christmas card and Christmas gnome child.
Oh, it's a gnome child.
Well,
it's-
we've got a winner before it even goes out.
The option is something, I don't even hear what it was, but versus gnome child.
yeah.
Easy.
That's done. All right. Next question. Regardless, you'll be able to vote on that momentarily.
They want a Monash Christmas jumper.
So obviously there's something going on with the audio.
Rhythm set.
Right?
Yeah.
Moving on. Freg asks, when do skill cape perks arrive?
Early next month is the aim.
Okay, it's not too far. Smoke Devil asks, can we get a negative XP drop in Deadman mode to show how much XP we've just lost?
Ooh, nice.
That'd be cool.
Yes. And that'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
I'd like to go as slow as possible, too.
Big,
How
big-
confident are you with that arithmetic?
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
But yeah, big writing right across the entire screen, scrolling up.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, boom, 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 boom.
Yes, yeah,
Yes, it would go down.
Yeah. Yes, I like that. That's very good.
It feels like there should be a kind of wah, 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 wah noise during it.
Followed by a GG. I was going to say it's my mic. I don't think it's my mic.
Who knows? Who knows?
As to the idea, is that possible?
The XP drop. With enough reprogramming of the client script, probably.
Would that
Anything's
take
possible?
Would that take priority over
Anything
updates?
else we were doing.
Yeah.
It's a big
cool,
job though,
but-
right?
It's cool, but that's it, really. It's cool.
Yeah, we already get people saying, "Where's this thing that was in the last poll?" And if we say, "Oh, we had a really cool idea actually in this stream, and we thought we'd do this instead," it doesn't always go well.
Dude.
Very true. Okay. Skylor asks, how will Dark Essence work with pouches?
Won't.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not able
Dark
to be
Essence.
banked.
So you'll read more about it, but the Dark Altar is all about evil and nastiness and horribleness, and it will destroy pouches that go near it. It's not. It's the antithesis of Essence, you know.
I wish you
Tell
hadn't
people
told
it'll
them that.
destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds jolly evil if it destroys your pouch.
Yes, indeed. All these pouchless people running around
Indeed.
in their room crafting to get there.
Kangaroos won't like it.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah. But lots of lore. In fact, one of the one of the activities that you can do in the new city is to investigate the Dark Altar in the library and find out what is the whole history behind it. So the lore people there are going to absolutely love that. There's going to be so much lore involved in that, which they can investigate and
gonna
find
write.
out for themselves. Which I'm going to write. Yeah, so it's going to be quite exciting.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
You gonna sneak in some data memes?
Speaking some data memes and stuff. Yeah, there's going to be lots of dating going on.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Dear.
Data. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Linkmaster asks, more bank tabs pulls. He says not actually because he needs more space, but more or less because he wants to better organize.
How about we have so many tabs that there's enough for one item each?
What do we have currently?
No.
Is it currently 10?
I really cannot remember. I don't think it's quite that many, but the code is expanding.
Yeah.
You have 2 rows of them instead of 1. Just put them underneath it.
We do have a lot more vertical space than we did when we first did bank tabs on most people's screens. Also, we've got a bit more space on the left and right, which we're just not using at the moment. Like, we've currently got the settings button, picture of a spanner, courtesy of Alfred. If we just stick that somewhere else, then that space is freed up, and the same on the opposite side. We have 2 more tabs there.
Okay. Cool idea. Master asks, when will you pull the Slayer help imbues with the boss heads?
When we don't have quite so many other things that we're already working
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I think
So
It's
to,
a really nice idea.
I mean, looking at what we've got left for this year, I don't even know if we're going to do another poll this year. Would seem not quite right.
We will need to poll Christmas, presumably,
Oh, yeah,
unless
that's
they've
true,
unless they've got to a point where they don't want us to do that.
yeah. Yeah, so that would be that, but Zeah,
Yeah, a couple of small
hitting
things.
and
but-
Christmas. There's not going to be anything big coming out, that's for sure.
yeah, I think it kind of repeats Ash's answer 2 minutes ago, that we already have a lot of really sound ideas that we need to work on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
Guy, so here's an interesting topic that came up last night. Will you be changing dragon spears being poisoned with Karambon to make them tradable? So, a friend made a video, the YouTuber friend made a video, and if you use the Karambon poison, they become untradeable, and they can become a protected currency in your bank. You can make as many as you want, obviously. What's your opinions on this, Ronan?
The spears are pretty darn hard to get. I mean, they're not going to have a consistent value, like things like D-longs or D-skims, but they're probably still going to be worth a chunk.
They're currently
I don't
like
know.
300, 350k.
I think
Like that.
a big part of it comes down to what the community want, because if it is a problem to the point where people are storing 100% of the wealth that they've earned in D-spears, then it's excessive and it's just avoiding the mechanic completely. Whereas if
How
it is just-
effective is it at getting the wealth back from it?
You just use a cloth on it and clean it, and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Sell it.
So what we could do is make it like some of these other items which have in the game, which converts to a different tradable version when you die with it.
Okay.
If it turned into an unpoisoned spear, or even a less poisoned spear on death, then I think that behaviour would work in the bank as well. So it would just drop its KP off and head over.
Any reason why it's not tradable?
Yeah, in the quest where you have to make your own poison to be able to complete the quest, it would have let you skip the whole bit where you have to make the poison if you could just buy the thing off somebody else. A bit like the bit where you can buy a Karam one off somebody else, but the developer didn't quite get that right.
Right, so
That sounds like a good solution.
back to the issue. A couple kind of points here. If I can just find where this question is. It's actually on this page, isn't it? Yeah. So, possibilities of making it so you can only have one at a time of this poison spear. So it would act as a wealth storage, similar to a cannon, though, in that you can only let one decay.
So now they'd like us to make it work as a wealth storage, but not a very big one.
Yes, that's one.
I think converting on death is the best solution. It's the same with like barrows. Barrows is broken, it's untradeable. It's going to go to a 0 form.
They can
I
find
think
somewhere
so.
else to be the wealth storage, perhaps.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, even if you, no matter how many spears you could afford, say you could afford 10, that's 3 mil, give or take, let's say. I mean, you could, in theory, instead of having all 10 of those, just sell all 10 of them and just buy something that's worth 3 mil and stick that in your deposit box.
There you go.
It's not a big deal, so I don't know, personally.
Yeah, that all boils down to it's not a major thing worth worrying about.
Yeah,
There are solutions out there for it.
it's a clever tactic, but I don't think it's as big a deal as some people are making it out to be.
Indeed.
Okay. Another discussion actually here. This one's from Paul. Less of a question, more of a discussion, but I think it's worthwhile addressing.
Give me funny looks for it.
Oh, just looking at some of the chat comments and check and see whether they're accurate.
The deposit box is full, then sell something and buy something more expensive.
No, Ronan does not look like a herb. Pretty sure.
What?
That's a new one.
Yeah, we got a question coming in from Paul. Discussion rather. I felt like addressing. So he says, personally, I'm not against the idea of suiciding in Deadman mode. The guarded areas are exactly that, guarded, not safe, as some people think. What I have an issue is little to no risk suiciding. That's what's going on with people using like a few blood runes, as example, or simply Dragon Dagger. As I said, though, it's a guarded area, not safe. People attacking these zones should be okay. I just feel they should risk something significant themselves if they're going to do so. Which brings me to the suggestion. Basically, he pitches saying somebody who dies skulled in a guarded zone should lose 10% of their protected skill.
Yeah, I think I put a post up the other day about that on Reddit as well, seeing if that was a good idea. And all the other options, for example, putting them in prison for half an hour, all we're going to do is encourage people for...
Put them on timeout.
Yeah, put them on timeout, put them on the naughty step for half an hour. Is all of that's going to encourage people to go to their clan and their friends and say, has anybody got a suicide account I can borrow because mine's now timed out? So then they'll just start sharing accounts. So that's not going to solve it. But I think that solution is the right one.
Yeah, it stops people getting the high stats protecting them and just continuously killing. So
It seems a logical thing to do.
I do like the idea of being able to lose your protected skills there.
It also
In that
gives,
instance.
I mean, the other thing is, as Paul said, we don't want to stop people from feeling that they can attack somebody in a safe zone if they've got a reason to do it. Whatever that reason is up to them. But they now factor in not the fact they're going to lose everything, lose their items, lose all the 50% of their XP, but also 10% of their protected XP. It's just another thing to factor into that decision. And that'll just stop people from just rinsing and repeating the same activity over and over again.
yeah, see, I was concerned about it before because people were occasionally misclicking and attacking, but I believe we now have that solved.
Yeah, there's so few reports of it coming in now that if people are doing it
Well,
somehow, then
We've got the
That's-
hidden options now, so if you have the hidden option active, you cannot click someone, and now that's the default option. So if your client hasn't loaded your option yet, when you log in, you still won't be able to left-click attack. So
I think misclicking in safe zones is taken care of.
yeah,
If it's not, then it's your own
people
fault.
can go out of the way to misclick.
I mean you can misclick if you accidentally have the setting on something else,
Yeah.
but
You can misclick by saying, oops, cat took control of the keyboard, changed my attack settings, and then attack somebody, oops.
Them cats say
Yeah.
they are horrific.
Yeah, even at just 10% as example is a good one. Somebody with 99 strength, for example, they're still going to lose 1.3 million experience, so it's a fair bit. Right. Dom says, will it ever be possible to change your respawn location to one of the spawn points given in the beginning of Deadman?
We think about that, didn't we? It might be worthwhile doing after the suiciding stuff's sorted out, because one of the reasons suiciding is particularly bad in Lumbridge is because that's where everybody respawns straight away. So we'd have to, once that's sorted out, then maybe we can look at doing that. Makes sense.
Okay. Fused asks, can forging the fire cape with the max cape give the max cape the lava animation from the fire cape? Art guys? Can fusing the max cape with the fire cape give the max cape part of the lava animation from the fire cape?
It can, but we're going to have to see how that looks because it might be a bit dodgy. Because how textures work is how the plane is centered in jagged. So we'll just have to see how that works really.
Can they hear you? Because you're not mic'd up.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. We still don't know how textures even work in Editor at the moment. They currently work in game, but the tools are a bit shaky on textures. To actually make a texture apply to a model, we have to do it polygon at a time. That's why the fire cape has this awful tiling when you zoom in, because only one of those polygons can support the texture. We can't spread it across multiple polygons. So we could look into it, and if people really want it for consistency, we can do it. But I'd say it'd take a lot of extra time.
Okay.
Beautiful.
That would explain why the lava dragons look a bit weird.
Likely.
Well, the fact
They
they're
look
made out of
cool.
lava.
They do look cool.
They do, yeah, that's true, yeah.
For that question in specific, it's only going to be a percentage of our max players, which isn't even very many people as it is. So
I don't even like the idea personally, to be honest.
I think it
I
looks really nice. I love all the new max capes. They look awesome.
they do look awesome. The obvious accumulator one looks.
Maybe it's a little. It'd make it look a bit busy if it had the lava as well.
Maybe just the lava coming down the things at the front.
For what it's worth, whenever we have an animation where you change transparency, like for a teleport effect, any animated texture stops working and doesn't become transparent. So what we used to have when you went through a fairy ring in a fire cape is that you would become invisible during the animation, and your fire cape will just sit there all by itself without changing at all, because it couldn't do it with the animated texture. Right. So we had to do some fairly laborious hacking around that. There's something similar going on in the wilderness obelisks when they teleport you around and you go semi-transparent for those. It's going to get a little laborious if we have to do it for more and more capes with animated textures on. But hey, like we said, it is possible.
There's a question in the chat, why do the yaks in RuneScape move?
Say again?
Why do the yaks in RuneScape move? Do yaks I don't know what sound the yak makes.
The yak.
This isn't a pun.
No, it's not a pun.
Wow.
No, it's a question in the
Uh-oh.
chat. I just thought, that's
We're just
actually quite
genuinely
interesting.
shocked, like,
Disappoint me.
we just expect puns.
I'm guessing
It's like,
whoever
it's like
made
a
them all
joke,
those
isn't it?
good.
Why does a yak in RuneScape move?
Yeah.
Because whatever funny reason.
That's a classic.
I
It
don't know.
could just be that when we made them, nobody had ever seen a yak.
I knew what they sounded like, indeed.
Yak, yak.
Yes.
They make. Oh, I was thinking pack yak with the baru.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the alternative.
We got more inventive with the onomatopoeia by that point.
Yes.
Yeah, they're saying baru.
Yeah, Baru. Maybe we'll just change that then.
That sounds pretty game breaking, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. We might have to
I
pause it. I want to hold that,
Maybe
just
we-
because it's such a pointless thing.
Maybe the audio team can commission us a special sound effect rather than just playing the old moo sound over and over again. Then they can make a proper baru.
Yeah. Where do the yaks come from? Are they North America? I don't know where you
I
find
don't know what
yaks.
you're asking me. I have no idea.
Well, you're from Canada, so I figured you might know a bit about more North America than me.
One of my friends went to Poland and came back with some yak cheese, which I think was made in that part of the continent. It tasted very strong.
So I think we ought to go somewhere where there's yaks and listen to yaks and see what they sound like.
I think we ought to go somewhere where there's interesting cheese.
We need a research project.
Research project to yak.
Argonog?
A week away just to...
I think put Zeah on hold until we can figure this out.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
the discussion it's caused is clearly an important point that needs resolving. The Himalayas, there we go. We can go and test out that story we heard about big noisy bloke in that climate of the Himalayas.
Oh, Brian Blessed.
Brian
yes.
Blessed, his story. See if it works.
Do your Brian Blessed impression.
I can't do Brian Blessed.
I think you've lost all of our viewers.
Yeah. That's all right. Well, if you don't know the story, we'll tell you afterwards. It's certainly not.
Yeah, we can't tell them.
I'm not following anymore.
Moving on.
Moving on. Moral of the story, yes, we can change pack yaks to say baru.
I'm writing it down.
Write it down here. Right, where are we? Here we go. When looking at our character equipment, can we have the ability to spin our player 180 degrees to look at the back? So currently they just kind of like do one of these?
It's like,
I can't remember whether the required engine feature existed in the 2007 engine. It might do, it might not do, not entirely sure, sorry.
although, possibly next week, you will be getting an update that Ash has just made. That will probably allow you to look at your back fairly nicely.
Well, you can certainly look at the back of you.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we polled a while back to give you access to a kind of black area where it's all one colour, which means that when you take a screenshot, you can remove the background very easily. Well, I did some work on that this afternoon because I fancied something light for a change. And yeah, so your disk of returning will get this extra option that takes you to a blackout place where you can just take screenshots of yourself and maybe your pet and any items you dare drop on the floor there to get screenshots of them more conveniently. And yes, you can see the back of yourself there. There's a picture of it on my Twitter, although it looks like a big black space, so it's not a very good picture.
Okay. Next question. Furious asks, can the Karamja General Store be made a hard reward to prevent flooding?
I don't know what impact it's having until we know that then.
It's become a pretty controversial topic on Reddit.
Yeah, I
think,
know there's
this week.
discussion about it, but whether what they're saying is right, there's a lot of conjecture really, so it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. There's still one more thing we need for the data warehouse to actually look at that. Or is there?
Find out next time.
What we're waiting for is the monster drop, so we can see what monsters are dropping and where it goes and who gets it and all that sort of stuff there, sort of spaffing out. Whether that's the same for shops, I don't know. I'll ask the analytics team to have a look at it, see what they've got.
Yep. Needs more data.
Yeah, need more data.
Shader asks, what do you predict for the future of Deadman? The big finale.
Deadman, what's going to happen with Deadman? Well, the thing is, we don't know just yet. At the moment, it's doing very well. We've got, 30,000 people a day playing it, which is fantastic. It's been hugely popular. The amount of players going into it and coming out of it is all very, very positive as well. In fact, I had a report commissioned today, which I got some more data come through. And from, I think, the amount of people who've left RuneScape as a whole because of Deadman mode is about 1,200 people. And bearing in mind we've got 30,000 people playing it a day, that's a huge amount of people are playing it and have stayed within RuneScape as a whole, whether it's Deadman or whether it's gone back to Old School or to Darkscape or to RS3. It's a huge amount of people. It's brought in tons of them.
You see some people die and you think, oh, that guy's definitely quit. But then you see some people that genuinely enjoy the rebuild.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it is so quick.
So it's it's really positive what it's done. As for whether it will continue to be as popular, we're watching the numbers very carefully, but we're only 3 weeks in at the moment, so it's very hard to actually come up with a long-term plan of what we're going to do. There's lots of options out there. One of the things we can do is obviously turn it seasonal if it does start dipping significantly, so that there's not enough people playing it. We then can turn it seasonally. And someone's broken the sound. Who's broken the sound?
Someone's touching their microphone.
Oh, not me.
Chris,
Might be me.
Maybe Kieran, actually.
touching the microphone.
Not touching it. Well, holding it.
Okay, who's touching their mic?
So seasonal high scores, seasonal games, sort of reset it every 3 months or so is a potential thing we can do. Not going to do it unless people want that to happen. What else can we do? The other thing we're going to do is we're actually taking it to Comic-Con next week, aren't we? Deadman mode, so that's one of the things we're going to be doing with it as well, is taking it out and showing it to all sorts of people, so that's next week. We're also going, hopefully, and this is sort of in the planning stages at the moment, for the next tournament, which will be in Easter. We're planning to do a Deadman server with more XP, but only open for a small amount of time, so for 4 days. You then will work through those 4 days to get your character to the best level it can be, and throughout that period we're going to start taking away the safe zones. So on day 1 some of the guarded zones will disappear, day 2 they will as well, day 3, and then when we get to the last 2 hours everybody will get teleported to the same location. The last person to survive that fight will win a lump of cash, and that's basically the plan we're working on at the moment, which will be quite amazing if we can pull that off. We also, we want to do it live at Insomnia, don't we?
Yeah,
Which is going to be
that'd be
quite
awesome.
amazing. So that's the plan for that, and that'll be quite an amazing thing to do. But we'll have to figure out. We've got to do something clever with servers, because obviously a server can only fit 2,000 people on. I'm sure there'll be much more than 2,000 people wanting to play it for 4 days. So lots of interesting challenges, but we've got 3 months. We'll overcome it somehow. But that sounds like a huge amount of fun. So.
Get a lot of pog jams for that one.
Yeah, I think, and the thing is, if that works well, there's no reason why we can't just do that all the time as well. So we can, if it runs for 4 days, it works really well. There's no reason why we can't trot it out at every single event that we're doing it. The Insomnia we're talking about is probably going to be the one at Easter. So I don't know what number that is. 58 sounds about right.
I have no idea. I lost track of Insomnia. It's a long time ago.
It's what, January, is
I
it?
think 56 is the one that's just been, isn't it? And 57 is the one in December. So, but anyway, so yeah, and we don't just have to limit to those times. I mean, we could do it at the same time at any of the big commercial events that go on, and sort of recycle it whenever we want to. So, that's something that we're thinking about, and I think that's a really good use for Deadman mode.
I agree. That's one of the best ideas we've had.
Yeah, I think
Can't
so.
wait for that one.
But,
I didn't say pog jam, pog champ. Give a break.
yeah.
Yes, last Q&A I said you all, and they were like, he said y'all. Didn't say y'all.
And you did now. So yeah, so there's all sorts of weird and wonderful things that we can do with Deadman mode. But it could well be that people will be playing it, and it will sit with 30,000 people playing it for the next few months and years, and it will just keep on going. We
I love
just don't
how.
know.
Sorry, I love how fun it is to watch. Like, you just find there's only going to be like maybe one person, say, streaming Deadman PKing, even with a delay, and he's still going to pull 1,000 viewers.
I mean, we did some.
It's so fun to watch.
We did some studies on what people were watching on Twitch with regards to Deadman mode, and in the first week alone, we had over 1.25 million hours of Deadman watched on Twitch. Which is a huge amount of time. It's normally for a week we get about 600,000 hours worth of RuneScape watched, but first week of Deadman mode, 1.25 million. It's nuts,
Crazy.
absolutely nuts. And
Seeing-
if it wasn't for Bob Ross, he would have been
Yeah.
top watcher. So
Kappa Ross in the chat.
yeah, exactly. And I think most of the people were actually watching people killing bats on Deadman mode, because that is obviously the activity to do.
Yeah. It's a ton of fun to watch. No doubting that.
Absolutely.
We need some happy trees and Zeah.
Somewhat.
Happy trees.
Happy trees, I guess. You see, the worst thing is,
You know
alright,
what?
okay, well, the saddest thing is about Bob Ross is I watched him first time around. How terrible is that?
Hipster.
Shows how old I am. Yeah.
Did it first.
My mum's a professional artist, you see, so she used to
Okay.
on TV when I was a little nipper. So
You were there first.
Yeah.
Let the world
When I
know.
saw Bob Ross, I was like, oh, I haven't seen him in a while. And it was like, what is this amazing new thing? I'm like, oh, feeling a bit old now.
We've had some requests for his hairstyle to be immortalised in RuneScape.
I think that's only fair, to be honest with you.
Then it'd be just him and Kim Jong Un,
Yes.
You got the Kappa Ross with the afro, the rainbow
Yeah.
afro.
Yeah.
possibly Ronan.
Speaking of painting happy trees, we're about to head over to Mods Alfred and Ghost, who'll be modeling some Zeah stuff. Very fun stuff to watch. Let's design Zeah. I think they just said they're going to design happy trees. You did?
Well, there is a new tree needed, so it could be happy.
Evil trees.
Evil trees. Well, no, the trees aren't in the evil.
It's almost as good. Okay.
Yeah, you need to use Van Dyke Brown.
Are we good to head over then?
I think so.
Yeah? Okay, cool, guys. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for watching the Q&A. See you next Thursday. Stay tuned for the Let's Design Zeah live stream.